Good evening. How you guys doing? How was your day? Good weekend? Hmm. So I was doing stuff and things, and I didn't really have a thought of whether or not I was gonna do a video today, just kind of. And then I was just sitting over there doing stuff and things, and didn't feel like doing a video. And then I watched somebody else's video, and they made a comment that made me so happy that it sparked the idea to have a conversation and another way to approach this, because you have to understand that I'm doing everything I can to continue the mission as I see it. And that means making the idea of communication entertaining and fun, and making it interactive, making it something where you can think about it. There's pieces of it that maybe you never thought about it before. It's the idea to get you thinking. Even if you think I'm an idiot, that's okay. At least you're thinking something new. You weren't thinking that before you see my videos. So I'm winning, you see. So, excuse me. We're going to talk about love again. We're going to go back into it. And it's because of the love that was just like the overabundance that I felt. You're going to love this. So I'm going to tell this story because I think it's important. I'm not going to shout anybody out or talk about whose video it was. It's not, I don't do that. And there's not a lot to their end of it, but I hope nobody feels that where I got the inspiration from is the point. Okay. So they were talking about how somebody had decided to make the right decision finally. That even though they were doing dumb shit, that they had decided to do something good, and they were happy about it. Not the person that had supposedly done the thing in the reading, but the reader themselves showed joy at that. And I was stoked, and I was egging them on. I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And I was like, oh shit, that's what I need to be talking about, is the celebration that's important, I think. It's a version of love. I think love has more angles to it than any other word I'll ever pull apart, because the more that I pull apart love, the bigger it gets. It's not like you can separate it. You can only add more into the word love. It's ridiculous. I'm trying to figure out why it works like it does. The very concept itself, it grows. We never add bad things into love and say that's love. We don't do that, do we? No, but there's always new ways. We're like, oh, that's a great way to show that you love somebody. It's always happening. It's this weird, ever evolving thing. And every one of us is contributing to it. I apologize. I've been eating sawdust for 2 days. So, celebration. To me, celebration is a big part of self love, right? Because you can't really celebrate what's going on with somebody else. You can share the emotion that they're going through, but you're not going through it, so you can't really celebrate what they're celebrating. Does that make sense? But what you can celebrate, here we go, we just inserted celebrate into self love and love as a general whole. And now I'm going to pull apart celebrate and change the diameters of that so you can see why it fits into love, okay? So you can make a bunch of bad decisions. We all do. I do all the time. I make bad decisions. So maybe they aren't life threatening or life altering. Maybe none of them have a ripple effect anymore that caused me to have chaos in my life. But making bad decisions is still part of life, right? Learning things. You can't control everything. You have to learn something new. You don't live in a bubble, you know. And so when you make a bad decision, when you're wrong, when you have fucked up, it's it's forgiveness, right? And remember we were just talking about forgiveness? It was just the last video, I think. I might have said something about forgiveness. I might have talked about it for like 33 minutes. But anyway, forgiveness of yourself. You did this. I accept that I did this. It was not a great idea. And it doesn't have to be like I hurt somebody. I shouldn't have put that much pepper in the soup. It's a good one, huh? You like that. And because I know now that if I put that much pepper in the soup, I won't be able to eat it. I'll have to waste the soup, and I'll feel like an idiot because I really wanted that soup, but I put too much pepper in it. It's a bad decision. I'm not saying you're going to keep repeating it, but you made it. Too much pepper in the soup. And so, the next time you make soup, you only use like a quarter of that much pepper. And it's perfect. And you're stoked. You're so happy with yourself for not putting too much pepper in like last time. You're celebrating because you're eating that soup. And that's what you wanted. Oh, you've been craving that soup. And it's good soup. It's good soup. And you didn't fuck it up. And you celebrate that. And you might think about putting too much pepper in your soup every time you ever go to pepper your soup ever again. I bet you do. Even subconsciously, you think about it. You start to shake that pepper and go, you see? So, to me, self love is celebrating all the shit that you do wrong. I really like this concept. And not because you did it wrong, but because you recognized that it was wrong and you altered course so that wasn't wrong anymore. That should be celebrated. You should be your own hype man. And I mean, like, on a real level. Like, bro, once again, we have outdone ourselves and made the best soup ever. And it's because we added just this amount of pepper and we figured it out. And now we are a professional soup maker. And now we share this soup recipe with other people because we have perfected the pepper ratio. See how that works? Isn't that a weird analogy? The idea of soup, and then apply with any other words that you want to do, and reapply pepper with any action that you did or thought process or words that you used. It's almost like you could take soup and apply it to anything in any construct that you found yourself in based on how you interact with the world. And you could figure out if there's too much pepper in the soup. All you gotta do is just eat it once and it tastes like shit, and you should know there was too much pepper. The point I'm trying to make is celebrating ourselves is the best feeling in the world. When you accomplish something, you finished a paper, finished work for the day. If you're in any kind of trade work at all, no matter what, unless you're just a total tool, you take pride in what you make. You're good at it. Even if you're not the best on the floor or the best on the team or but you know how to do that one thing and you're real good at it. And that pride in yourself, that's the level of like I'm proud of myself for realizing I'm a dick. I'm an asshole. Man, I'm rude. I'm inconsiderate. Not thoughtful. Chivalry's dead. Anything that you can think of. If you look at yourself and recognize that, you should celebrate the fact that you see it. Right there. Just start the celebration. Fuck, I'm a dick. And laugh about it. You don't even have to beat yourself down because you're doing something wrong. You're recognizing that something isn't lining up with you, that real you, whatever it is, whoever you are, whatever you prescribe to. But the you that you feel is the real you, based on shadow work, not based on. This is the first video that you've caught out of the series of videos that I've done. I would suggest you go back to the first one and start at the beginning and work your way to this video so you have some groundwork in which the words that I'm using to describe a thought process isn't floating on the river by itself. That you haven't just stumbled into a left turn, in Neverland, and now you don't know where you are or what I'm trying to speak on. I'm not saying you have to, because It doesn't matter if people watch my videos. I've one person seen my videos, and that's pretty good. It's about helping people think. And so please understand that it's just a little disclaimer. I wanted to throw it in there because, like, I think it matters that you build a mindset of thinking. And even though right now we're speaking on love and self love, and not just self love, but not just gratitude, but celebrating ourselves for being assholes. Like, I understand we've wandered way down the path from where you're normally used to hearing people speak on. I get that. But let us carry on. So, this gratitude that you can recognize that you're fucking up. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares what you do. I mean, this is the truth, right? You can do whatever you want. It's free will. You don't have to care. You have to care about nobody else. You don't have to be nice. You don't have to be kind. You don't have to be thoughtful. You don't have to be any of the things that get other people to feel like they want to be around you. You don't have to do, you can be just whatever. But this is, I'm speaking on, is deciding you don't want to be that person. That you would like to, in some way that only you can understand, improve some part of your life, not even by having to like win $1 million, just by observing it differently. That the power itself, whether you have a happy life or not, has nothing to do with anything more than your thought that it is happy, that it's good, that you're enjoying yourself, that the things that you're learning are fucking awesome. So you gotta celebrate yourself. You have to. It's mandatory. It's mandatory. It's so far beyond. Nobody is ever going to love you like you love yourself. And I don't mean that in an egotistical way. I don't mean you love how you look or some superficial bullshit. Deep down, who you really are, that love, that self love. You win. You can be broke and homeless and you're still winning. You can have nothing and you're still winning. And it's just based on your mindset. It's based on who you think you want to be versus who you are based on how you make money. I don't know what the percentage would be, but I bet it's pretty high that people don't do what they love, they do what makes them money in the fastest way or the most familiar way. But it's not based on the creativity of their spirit, it's based on the need to survive in a world that you have to have money. You have to have a certain amount of money. You have to be this and you have to own that and you have to have these brands of whatever. And like, I get how hard it is when living in a survival state of mind and a lax state of mind. You get that. But then the second, and I live in Western society, like I live in America. So as soon as I see something like Africa where everybody's still living in like dirt huts, there's no clean water for like a mile. And it's a small pool that everybody has to take and go get water from. Like that style of living, the idea that any human child right now with our level of technology and how much money we have and all the things that still exists in the world, that we allow that as a society, it just don't make sense to me. So philosophy doesn't have anything to do with owning things. Philosophy has to do specifically with the thought process behind why whatever. And then you put your opinion into the hat, and then people argue with it. And I don't have a lot of argument usually when I speak on things because I'm taking a lot of time consider the angles from all directions, you know? And this self love, this gratitude, that's what I have. There's still lots of things about myself I got to work on. You have no idea. It's never work's never done. It's always more stuff, you know, just critiquing things and making yourself. And maybe you don't subscribe to this. That's fine. You don't have to be a weirdo like me who thinks that self love and self understanding is like the whole point of being here. That's okay. We don't have to think the same because the point of thinking, from my point of thought, is that you're the only you. I'm the only me. And I've found an ability to be able to think way outside of the box in reality in different versions of what might be truth, in the hopes that somebody else would look at what I was saying and in thinking in a new way, say something that I haven't thought of nor heard of from any human before. So the idea of celebrating myself when I do something wrong, I'll tell you right now, I didn't used to think a lot of things were wrong. In fact, you could say that it's taken me many years to come to the conclusions that some of my actions and thoughts and deeds were the wrong kind of fucking human that I didn't really want to be. You could say that the idea that I wanted to have the ability to be negative if I wanted to and not think there was any kind of consequences, that I could live a life of just me, and that I wasn't affecting anyone else and causing fucking chaos in the world. It took a lot for me to come to the understanding that as soon as I started loving myself and who I was and stopped trying to be anything other than who I am as a human being, my life stopped being chaotic. Is it easy? No, I don't think life is supposed to be easy. I think you had to probably be born with a silver spoon for life to be relatively easy. It seems to be a money based system. I don't disagree with anybody. I understand society as a whole, you know, not delusional in any way. I just find it interesting that some people have so much and other people have so little, and there's no way to balance it. Like, it's not even, I don't even want to take away from the system, but why is it there's not a system in place that could rebalance it? Isn't there supposed to be a balance for everything? So what's the balance to the way we live our lives right now? I used to think that it was music and festivals and the ability to escape society. But wanting to escape society just gets you addicted to escaping reality. And reality is society. But there's no balance in society. It's all imbalanced. And I think it's because of lack of self love, and people aren't celebrating the fact they're like, oh, I'm a shithead. I'm gonna fix that. I'll love myself for this. I'm totally gonna do this different. I'm doing this different now. I just don't care. There's always something that we could do along this thought process to celebrate some version of ourselves that we really don't like anyways, and then just start healing it and start working on it. Shadow work is examining parts of yourself that you don't like, and you're like, oh man, why do I keep acting like this? And you identify what the factor is. And it's been my experience, people, places, and things. If you put yourself in certain environments, you become a certain kind of person. If your friends are a certain kind of way, then you're probably kind of that way as well. That, you know, the things that you consume, be it through TV to food, that you kind of slide into some categories with other people that feel the same way. That, like, it just seems like it's all kind of weird. But self love, I think, is the point. And I think that The only way to love yourself is to celebrate everything. And it's easy to celebrate when you feel like you're on top of the world, but when you're at the bottom of the world, you should celebrate. Every bad thing about yourself you should celebrate, because the end result is at some point, if there's something you don't like about yourself, you can stop being that person. It's all learned behaviors. You can make the decision to stop being whoever you want to be and start to make the decision to be whoever you want to be at any point in time. Reality is fluid like that. So, even though it's a little rambling and went in a bunch of variety of things, I think that I've hopefully made some kind of headway into this just ball of randomness, and it all seems to point to love, and not even as like anything other than love. And love is just that emotion where you're just glad, that you're grateful. I don't know how love became divided from all these other things, that when I think of these words, it's like love, and it's either self-love or it's real love. And in one of my videos I talked about the difference between real love and fish love, and there was a famous, I think it was I need to go and remember his name. I believe he was a Chinese philosopher who talked about the difference between real love and fish love. And he was a guru. I don't know. Whoever needs the credit for it, it's fine. It was the point that it was created as an idea, and it's perfect to describe love. And I encourage you to figure it out if you can find the video, or you can Google it.